Tonight, we're embarking on a journey investigating injustice in Chicago. The goal to make the city safer for everyone, but especially for those impacted by crime the most. CBS 2 investigator Dorothy Tucker spotlights a troubling pattern that's been ignored for years. She joins us now with more.
Well, Dana, our investigation for the first time reveals the truth about who criminals are really targeting. We analyzed a lot of data, poured over pages of crime reports, and in the end, we discovered the one group that bears the brunt of crime in Chicago looks like me.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Reports of multiple people shot on the city's west side.
It's all we think about.
Multiple suspects walked up to the victim demanding his car.
Our biggest fear.
Breaking tonight, 4 teens, 3 15-year-olds and 1 16-year-old, all shot while on a front porch.
Being the next victim of a crime.
The man stumbled down the Chinatown platform, bleeding from his neck from a gunshot wound.
But what are your chances?
We're not just talking about 1 or 2 robberies here. We're talking dozens of them.
Who's really the most at risk? Is it white men, white women, Asians, Hispanics, black men? No, it's not. It's women who look like Tonia Thomas.
It's scary.
According to Chicago police crime data for 2022, when you look at all the offenses, count all the victims, black women are the most at risk.
It's honestly, it's not fair.
Unfair because that 67,000 means 25% of crime victims are black women. But they make up only 16% of Chicago's population. And when the CBS 2 investigators kept digging, we discovered even more disturbing data. Black women represented more than a third of kidnappings, 35% of assaults, 38% of batteries attacked and injured, 40% of rape victims. And let this sink in. Black women are 52% of human trafficking victims. Remember, they're only 16% of the population.
To have to navigate through life knowing that you'll potentially become a victim of a crime, primarily because of your race and your gender combined, it's not fair.
Thomas survived a rape.
This is all the paperwork from the hospital.
But she still feels the pain.
What happened to me, it won't go away.
It happened here, this West Side apartment building, at a friend's party.
I did have a couple of drinks, but nothing too crazy.
Pictures of a happy, smiling Thomas were taken just minutes before she felt dizzy and went to the bathroom. The police report details the horrors of the criminal sexual assault.
I remember being in the bathroom with my the person who assaulted me, and I remember just trying to get out of the restroom, but I couldn't get out.
The car was parked actually right there on the corner, right before the stop sign.
Even when it comes to nonviolent crimes and reports where police record race, black women,
I couldn't believe it,
like Evelyn Sparks, are targets. Black women account for 24% of property thefts, arson 28%, car thefts 29%. Again, they're only 16% of the population.
You could see it out the window.
A 2019 Kia.
I parked there every day.
But in less than 10 minutes, it was gone. Photos of a trashed Kia found by police an hour later.
Somebody that takes something that you work so hard for, it just makes you feel very violated.
Why are they targets? Because they're, if you want to call it, easy prey. Yes, yeah.
Geneva Brown is a professor of criminology at DePaul University.
We just had an unfortunate Officer Preston who was killed. She was on her way home at 1:40 in the morning, and she was a target of a robbery, disproportionately. Black women are working third shift jobs. Black women are in communities where there is a lack of a middle class, a lack of a economic foundation that would deter this type of behavior.
Where they live, when they work, and listen to this, how they are perceived by criminals put a target on the backs of black women.
You know that you're in a neighborhood where crime is the norm and not the exception. You're in a neighborhood where you know that the police are slow to respond. It creates that atmosphere where, unfortunately, you have people who feel empowered to become bolder or to continue to commit offenses until they're caught.
Why does it always have to be me? When do I get a break?
when can I have some peace? I hear those words quite often in the work that I do.
Gabrielle Molden-Carwell works as a trauma therapist, helping Black women cope with their emotional pain.
It's disheartening and it causes self-doubt because something must be wrong with me.
She knows the trauma of sexual assault, not just because she treats survivors.
I've seen it in my mom.
She's lived with it.
I've seen it in my grandmother on my mom's side. I've seen it for myself.
And how old were you?
I was 12.
In the year 2000, when this photo of a carefree little girl posed for the camera, masking her torture.
It went on for about 6 months or so. I was angry. I was heartbroken.
It's very aggravating.
Rage keeps me up at night a lot.
How long have Black women been overrepresented?
The CBS 2 investigators went searching for answers. We looked at every crime, every victim, not just 1 or 2 years, not 3 or 4. We went back 21 years.
CBS 2 investigative data journalist Elliot Ramos crunched the numbers.
The stuff is buried in like statistical reports that come out every year.
But it's here, the latest, pages 79 to 81.
You got batteries, you got robberies.
Ramos combined the crime data
by day of week, by location type,
with race, sex, and age from police reports.
It was surprising at how consistently Black women in particular were over-indexed in relation to the population, like year after year after year.
The revelation? Black women have always suffered more than others. A surprising fact?
I was 16 when all of that was going on.
No one suffers more than young Black girls under 18. A perfect picture of a thriving high school junior at Little Village until she dated the wrong boyfriend.
I remember like him grabbing my arm and he swung on me and hit me. He was very violent. He was very mentally abusive. All of that was very traumatic.
From 2001 to 2022, for every white girl attacked and injured, there were 18 Black girls hurt.
I decided like I wanted to take some pills. I no longer was getting the A and B's that I wanted. So if my grades began to drop, I felt very burdened. And so I no longer wanted to feel burdened.
I feel like this is just as bad as the war on drugs, right? Like everything went shut down for that. But what about these crimes?
But for Black women disproportionately targeted by crime, there is no special task force, no mayoral commission.
We talk about big picture stuff, we talk about, hot topics, but Black female victimization is not a hot topic.
And Brown adds, no public outcry to address the core causes.
I think that this is a conversation that needs to be had.
We've been counting CTA attacks, and this one marks 8 in the past 10 days.
As a Black woman walking into the world,
some of the 14 wounded are still in the hospital.
Every day and knowing there's this high probability that something's going to happen to me when I leave the house. And it's like, do you even leave home? But we have to. We can't, live a life where we're sheltered, but why should we have to?
We are not protected.
Consider a mundane trip to the gas station. In 2022, 66 Black women were carjacked or robbed at the pump.
I was filling up my gas for the week. It was over the weekend. I was filling up my gas for the week, for the work week.
Sierra Jameson was one of them.
I had a young gentleman come up to me and asked me, did I smoke? I said, no, sir, I do not smoke.
She wasn't driving this car. She was driving her prized 2018 black Jeep Wrangler. That's what the man wanted.
He was like literally coming right here. Bitch, give me your keys.
Even though he had a kitchen knife, this single mother and aspiring nurse with a 6-year-old son with autism said no.
What made me say no? Because I observed him. I could tell that he was really, I could tell that he really didn't know what he was doing because he was flinchy, he was nervous.
She also saw 2 other women nearby who had her back and a bat.
So I'm doing this. I said, give me your bat, give me your bat. So he did me like this. He let go, then he ran.
Jamison was naturally relieved, but then she got angry.
It was a few men here after the incident saying that this young man was standing here the whole day.
But he didn't attack anyone until she came along.
I'm sure because I'm a young black woman, he wanted to target me. I know he didn't target the man that came up and through here. I guess he feel like I'm gonna be vulnerable, be like, huh, get the key. But no, he got the wrong female.
If black women feel like they're targets of crime, they have good reasons. Look at the stats. Simply going through their daily lives makes them vulnerable. Last year at grocery stores, 277 black women were preyed on by criminals. In and around Chicago parks, 162. Even in the sanctuary of a church, 47 black women filed police reports. And on the public transportation so many rely on, 769 black women faced assaults, batteries, robberies, and other crimes just trying to get to work, return home, or go to school.
And they came from right here.
Kenya Merrills and her mom were attacked by a mob of robbers on the Red Line at 95th Street after leaving a downtown college.
He punched me in my face.
I had already knew I was finna die. So I just said, let me just shield my daughter so she won't die.
Fortunately, mom and daughter were not seriously hurt. We can't say the same for Nia Williams, out for a late-night snack.
I feel like I had a life-changing moment that's forever gonna stick with me, simply because I went to go get something to eat.
A couple of gyros at Maggie's, that's all she wanted. It was here in Bronzeville a few months ago where her life changed.
I wasn't in an argument with anyone. I wasn't at a party. I wasn't caught in a crossfire.
The police report listed the incident as a street crime. Last year, 1,130 black women were attacked and injured on Chicago's streets.
I was targeted.
3 strangers, unprovoked, started screaming at Williams inside the restaurant. Then they followed her to her car.
That night, I feared for my life.
What happened next was that life-changing moment.
You saw the gun.
He shot, boom, 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 and just start shooting at our head.
Her tone today, kind of matter of fact.
And that was it. I didn't even know I was shot right away.
But these photos from that night, her hospital bed, scream agony.
The biggest burn I ever felt. My teeth were blown out. I have no teeth here on the side. I was spitting out bullets and teeth at the same time.
Williams misses her smile,
yes,
but she acknowledges her blessings.
Most people don't survive, being shot in the face. I'm just thankful.
I'm so blessed to be here.
We need to take you back to Sierra Jamison's story. Remember, she survived the attempted carjacking.
I'm grateful. I went home to my son. I thank God every day that I'm here because it could have went a different way.
Jamison went home to her son on that day. But less than a month after this interview, she was the victim of another crime. Only this time, she would never see her son again.
We're honoring her legacy. We're honoring her life.
Jamison was murdered just days after celebrating her 30th birthday, found strangled inside her garage, her body lying next to her Jeep Wrangler.
I think it's important that the city of Chicago put forward some type of initiative to deal with this important issue.
His recommendation to establish a task force.
What I want to do is get folks together from Department of Family Support Services, Chicago Park District, Chicago Police District, Department of Housing, and the mayor's office to figure out what we can do and talk about first what the problem is.
Also on the list?
Maybe hear from other people that have been impacted by this, hear from families, and really honored to speak on this because I think that this is about social justice.
Is there something before you leave that you will try and do?
I think in this last year that I have to be intentional around the focus on this class of victims because it has become incredibly clear that this has been an ignored class.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
A handful of ladies gathered in Chatham, members of Jenkins' board of directors for her nonprofit health and wellness organization.
I thought it would be great for us to get together and talk about if we can launch a campaign about protecting Black women.